Hello and welcome to my channel, In Search of Wonder. My name is Anne and we are here today to talk about our September reading plans. Today we are at the tail end of something of a fall preview in our area. The temperatures are going to go back up to the upper 70s and 80s this week, but today the high is 69. The rain is gently falling. Some leaves have started coloring and falling. And there's just a general feeling of autumn in the air. So it's the perfect day for me to film my September TBR. Also, as I'm filming this, it's still August and school has not yet started, but I am in the throes of the back to school planning, classroom preparation, all of the things. So it's definitely starting to feel like fall is coming, and I'm realizing that I need to take down my summer decorations and start making everything a little more fallish around here, even though we are going to enjoy a few more days of summer before fall gets real. In honor of the occasion, I am drinking from this autumn cup. It's a set of mugs from a series of Currier and Ives, the Four Seasons prints, and this is the autumn print. And I added a little bit of, just a dash of maple syrup and a dash of cinnamon to my coffee here. Take a bit of that fall vibe, you know? So, September reading plans. Now, normally I go through my reading plans and the challenges that I'm doing and the readathons, and then share what books go with that. So this time I decided I would be a little more efficient in this process, and I don't know why I've not done this before, but instead I'm going to tell you what events I'm participating in, and then I'm just going to go through my stack of books and for each book tell you the various things that they go with. One reason is because there's a lot going on in September, like a lot. And thankfully, a lot of the things overlap. So it doesn't necessarily result in a huge TBR pile. However, it does result in, if I were to go by the challenges and readathons instead of by the books, it would result in like a lot of mentioning the same book again. So I feel like it makes sense to do it the other way around. So let's do that. First of all, I will tell you what the various challenges that I'm doing. Of course, if you are new here, you might not know that I do 4 regular reading challenges, at least this year in 2025. I am doing my own Reading the Classics challenge, and the prompt for September is Comedy by Shakespeare. And I will talk more about that in a minute after I've gone through my TBR. And then another annual reading challenge that I do is Chantel's Read Your Shelf challenge. And the prompt for that one this month is travel. I'm also this year doing Jane Reed's Christian Fiction Reading Challenge, and the prompt for September is series. So a book in a series. We are also doing the Jane Austen 250th birthday celebration together with Charlene at Coffee and a Book. And the reading assigned for the month of September is Persuasion. So those are the annual reading challenges and the prompts that go with them. Also, there are quite a few monthly readathons and events going on in the month of September, and I'm excited to join in with them. And thankfully, like I said, there's a lot of overlap with my annual reading challenges and the challenges working with each other. So that will be fun. First of all, the Shakespeare, which I will link all of the hosts and their channels, and I will try to remember also to put their readathon announcement videos below so you can get all the information if you're interested in joining in on any of that. Shakespeare is hosted annually in September by several channels, and it highlights the work of Shakespeare and the person of Shakespeare. So you can be involved in this readathon simply by reading a play by Shakespeare, or reading a book about Shakespeare, or reading a retelling of one of his plays. All of that goes. The hosts have chosen several books. Most of them are plays by Shakespeare, and they also have biographies of Shakespeare and works related to Shakespeare. I think Hamnet is one of the books, and they will be reading those books and hosting live discussions on them. That is Shakespeare, and I will definitely be participating in that one. Another one is Framed, which again is hosted by a couple of different channels, and I will include their information below. Framed is focusing on art, and they have a few basic prompts, basically to read a book about art, to experience art, and to create art yourself. And I love that challenge. It ties right in with my desire to appreciate beauty and to incorporate it into my life, and to just take the time to really enjoy art in all of its forms. So I am definitely looking forward to participating in that event as well. And then we have Series September, hosted by Krista at Books and Jams and Sarah at Sarah's Nightstand. And that one is exactly what it sounds like, to read series. Now, their prompts this year are based on like book cover and aesthetics, that kind of idea. And so honestly, it was a little bit harder for me to do this one, but it does coordinate very well with Jane Reed's Christian Fiction Reading Challenge, which is to read a book in a series. So I am doing at least that much, but I have some more ideas about that one, which I'll tell you in a second. And literally just this morning, before I was able to sit down and make this video, I watched Chantel's announcement about her Autumn Book Bingo, which is running from September through November. So that's a 3-month readathon. And it's very similar to Tiffany's Summer Book Bingo, which is winding up as I speak in another week or so. And it's the same idea. It's a 3x3 bingo board, and she has prompts for autumn related vibes for books. And so you read books that go with that. And she's also hosting a giveaway for that. So that's a lot of fun. And when I watched that, I was like, well, I'm definitely participating in that one. So I quick sat down and worked that into my September TBR as well. Now, you want to know, what books am I reading? Well, I assume that's what you want to know. That's why you're here, right? That's why you clicked on the link, because you want to know what I'm reading in September. We all want to know what each other's reading in September. It's the first question we ask, right? A new month rolls around and you want to know what your friends are reading. Let's start with Shakespeare. So you may have noticed my prompt for my Reading the Classics challenge is to read a comedy by Shakespeare. And Shakespeare is in September. That was not an accident. That was by design. And also, I have a list of books. The reason why I chose a comedy is because I want to read everything by Shakespeare eventually, but I'm kind of working through his plays by their genre or category. And so I'm working on comedies first. So I have a list of his comedies. I've read about half of them. And so I need to read all of them. For myself, I went and chose 3 of those. I looked at the schedule for Shakespeare and the books that the hosts are reading, and actually 3 comedies that I haven't read yet are on their list of books that they're going to be hosting live discussions for. And so that worked out perfectly for me. So I don't think I'll have time to read all 3 of them. So I put those 3 in a poll on my Discord server, and my friends in the Discord server voted for me. And they also asked if we could make it a group read, whichever one wins. Currently, as of the moment I'm filming this, the polling is not quite done, but it looks like As You Like It is the winning book, the winning play. So probably I'm going to be reading As You Like It. Now I have this Shakespeare omnibus, and I probably will read from this a little bit. I'll probably pull it up digitally as well and read it on the go because I like to read with some annotations, and I don't have that particular one in an annotated version, but I read, oh my goodness. Why can't I think the name of it? It starts with a C. Last year. What is that one? Cymbeline. I read Cymbeline last year, and actually I did read some of it from an annotated version, but I ended up reading most of it from this book, and it was fine. So, As You Like It. And that will also be a group read. I'll put a separate discussion channel on there, and so we can discuss As You Like It as a group. And I need to double check. I'll put it in the description box. There is a particular date. It's one of the Saturdays in September. The host of Shakespeare will have a live discussion about it. And so I'll put that date in the description box because I'm hoping, if I'm not busy, to be able to attend that event. If I'm not able to attend it live, I am looking forward to watching it after the fact. So that's that. But also, going along with the whole Shakespeare idea and Shakespeare, I picked up this book on my travels this summer, The Folger Guide to Shakespeare. And I went to the Folger Shakespeare Library in September also, in the summer. And I really, really, really love the library, want to go back there. And now I'm just, the name the Folger Shakespeare connection is just catching my eye. And so I picked up this book, and it has some general information about Shakespeare and his time, but then it also has some particular information about each of his plays, like, I don't know, context, etc. So let's see, do they have As You Like It in here? I should think so. Yes, they have As You Like It. There's about 10 pages there that gives you, well, let me go look at it so I can be specific with the information I'm sharing with you. It works through the scenes and gives like a summary of them. And it gives you some background information about the play and about the characters. There's some illustrations to go along with it. So I will probably read through that. And I also will probably read some of the biographical background information about Shakespeare himself that's at the beginning of the book and about his plays in general. There's like a chronology of his plays and that sort of thing. That is the Shakespeare that I am going to be reading. Now, these books, this one, the Shakespeare, and then the next three that I'm going to show you are, or next four, are my definite reads for September. These are the ones, my definite TBR. And then after that, I will share some of my possible TBR. This is more of a possible than a definite, but I'm hoping to at least dip into it a little bit. The next book that is on my definite list is The Lady with the Dark Hair by Erin Bartels, which has made an appearance on my TBR before, and I didn't get to it, but I do want to. Look at that gorgeous cover. I've read one other book by Erin Bartels and enjoyed it. I think that one was like contemporary, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. This covers two things on my reading challenges that I'm doing. The first one is Chantel's Read Your Shelf Challenge and the travel prompt. Because, let me read the first blurb here. This is a dual timeline. So the historic one says, Catalan orphan turned fugitive Viviana Torrens has found sanctuary serving in the home of an aging artist in southern France. It is in his studio that she meets Francisco Vela, a Gibraltarian merchant who sells pigments to artists. When her past catches up to her, she is compelled to pose as Vela's sister and join him on his travels, or be deported back to Spain to stand trial. So she joins him on his travels. So that's where that connection is. But I also, I'm sure you can guess, that this goes as well for the framed reading challenge that I am joining in September as well. So that one is a definite. It's going to be happening. I will be reading that one. And then another one is Color the Sidewalk for Me by Brandilyn Collins. Now, there are multiple reasons why I'm reading this one. First of all, this series was on my list of books that I have wanted to reread. I make a list every year of books that I want to reread. This was on my list last year. I got to the first book in the series. I didn't get to the other two. I do want to reread all the books in this series. I remember really loving it when I read it the first time, and I wanted to see if it held up. Unfortunately, the first one did not hold up at all. In fact, I didn't like it and I unhauled it. But I remember this one was my favorite in the series, so I'm really interested in reading this one, Color the Sidewalk for Me. And so it's the second book in a series, so it goes with Jane Reads Christian Fiction's challenge, which is to read a book in a series. And of course, it also goes with Series September. Now, I did have a bit of a trouble fitting this into the prompts for Series September because they're all like cover based, and this just didn't really fit with any of them. I mean, light academia is one of the prompts, and so I was thinking, well, sidewalk chalk, you know, that's kind of light academia. How much lighter academia can you get than preschool era? But then at the same time, it's a darker story because there's like neglect and abuse involved, as far as I remember. And then also, I don't know if you can see this really sad girl's face here, this little girl, and she's like, has tears in her eyes and she just looks very sad and depressed. So that's not really giving light. So I went instead with the prompt moody and dark, because I do think that the story has more of a moody element, and it's definitely not light. It may not be like super dark, but it's definitely leaning more that direction than light, despite the preschool sidewalk chalk situation going on here. So that is that one. That's a definite. And then A Fall of Marigolds by Susan Meissner. This does not go with any reading challenges for the year, but I am buddy reading this with Alma at Alma's Bookshelf, we had agreed several months ago that September would be a good time to read it because it is about September 11th, at least in part. And so it just has those fall vibes as well with the colors on the front. And also it goes with Chantel's Autumn Bingo. One of the prompts is like leaves or nature or something on the cover, but another one is orange. And so these marigolds are orange. So that fits very well with that one. And then for Jane Austen's 250th birthday celebration, we are reading Persuasion. And I feel like Persuasion is great to read in the fall. To me, it has the most autumnal feeling. I hate that word, autumnal, but it has that feeling more than any of her other books because there are like days when the men in the story go hunting, and then there are like long walks in the woods, and you just like, there's definitely a feel of autumn in the air as they're walking. So to me, it has a very strong autumn feeling to it. So it's a good time of year to read it, but also it goes with our 250th celebration of Jane Austen, and this is a definite read. And of course, I've been reading all the annotated versions this year by David M. Shapard, really enjoying that. And so I'm looking forward to reading his annotated version of Persuasion as well. I also like that it's not nearly as long as some of the other ones, so that's good. And in fact, Shorty September is an event as well in September. I'm not specifically trying to participate in that one, but the Shakespeare play would definitely qualify for being a shorter one. And that also goes for one of the prompts on Chantel's Autumn Bingo, which is less than 200 pages. So Shakespeare's play would definitely fit for that. Otherwise, I'm not particularly trying to do that one. Now, the rest of the books that I'm going to tell you about are more of a pile of possibilities that I'm hoping to get to and may or may not, kind of depending on my mood. So first of all, Dia had given this to me last year and I've dipped into it a little bit, but with the whole framed reading challenge, I am going to actually commit to, or try to at least. September can be busy because it's getting back to school and all that stuff, but I'm going to try to do the September music selections. So there's a daily selection of a piece of music and then a little bit of information about it so you can find it and listen to it and then read the little blurb about it. And so I think that that would just be a lovely way to celebrate framed and also be able to dip into this book. And that is, I'm sorry, I didn't say the name, Year of Wonder by Clemency Burton-Hill. It's all about classical music to enjoy every day. And then the rest of my mood reading that I picked up kind of coordinates with series September. So I went through all of my series that I currently have started and am in the middle of, and went to find what books that I could get, that I either had on my shelf or could get from the library, and books that fit the prompts. So I don't have something for every single prompt, and that's okay. I'm not going to get to all of these books. These are just mood reading options I'm going to pick from. I have requested some of them from the library, and some of them are available digitally. So most of them, I don't have actual books to show you. I'll just put the pictures up here. But to begin with, there is one that I have, and that is Rainbow Valley, which is the 7th book, in the Anne of Green Gables series, which I am slowly rereading through. And I'm going to use this for the Cozy Vibes prompt because it's a wintry scene, which isn't super cozy because, you know, it's like cold and snowy and everything. But I know that the Rainbow Valley book is all about the adventures that the Blythe children get up to. And it's all about home life and family life and the interactions of the children and the things they get up to. And so it definitely has strong cozy vibes. So even though the cover doesn't scream that, this particular cover anyway, definitely the book itself is going to give me all the cozy vibes. So Rainbow Valley is one I'm really hoping to get to in September. That's going on my mood reading pile of possibilities for sure. Another one is The Roads We Follow by Nicole Deese. I have read the first book in that series, The Words We Lost, I think. I really enjoyed it. I like Nicole Deese's writing a lot. And it's a Christian fiction author, and this series is based on various aspects of like the book industry. And I think that this one has a well, I know in this one, like the family is in the music industry, but then I think one of them becomes like an audiobook reader or whatever you call that, audiobook vocal artist. I don't know, what is the technical term for that? I think so, or that might be the third book in this series. But anyways, I'm fitting it for the prompt illustrated, which is a little bit of a stretch, I guess, but on the front cover, there's like a design, but then there are drawings, illustrations of various elements of the story, like scattered on the cover. So that's why I picked that one to go with the illustrated prompt. And also because it's a series that I want to read. And Nicole Deese is an author that I want to read her backlist. So I have a page in my journal for that. So this will help me cross one of those off as well. For the fall cover, this one is a little bit of, most of these actually might be a bit of a stretch, but we're gonna make it work. For fall cover, I picked Yours Cheerfully by A.J. Pearce, which I think it has a couple of different covers, and some of them are definitely not fallish at all. But the one that I was looking at, and the one that my library has two ladies on the front with a background of London behind them, and then they are wearing like fall coats. So, or like wool coats, whatever. And the coats are kind of like muted autumn tones. So that's why I went with that. Yours Cheerfully is the second book in the Any Lake Chronicles series. I read Dear Mrs. Bird and really loved it. I think I read that last year. And I've heard mixed things. Some people love the subsequent books in this series and some people don't at all. So we'll see where I land, but I do want to read the next one. For the Blue Tones prompt, I really want to get this one, Every Hour Until Then by Gabrielle Meyer. So it is the most recent book in the Timeless series, and I have not read it yet. It came out in like May or something. When you look at the cover, you don't think blue tones, okay? But the women in the cover, it's almost like they're at a photography studio and like the screen behind them is a blue screen. That's kind of like the effect that it's giving. So the whole background behind them, which your eye is not drawn to at first, but that whole background behind them is blue. So that fits for blue tones. And that one I really, of the ones on my series list, Rainbow Valley and this one are probably going to be ones that I actually go for sure. The next book, and actually the last book I'm going to mention, Every Hour and Then, by the way, also fits for the creepy prompt in Chantal's Autumn Book Bingo, because it's about Jack the Ripper, and I don't think you can get any creepier than that. I'm sorry. So creepy goes for that one. And then the last one is Cloaked in Beauty, which is Karen Witemeyer's third book in her Texas Ever After series, which is retellings of fairy tales set in Texas. I think in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, like turn of the 20th century. And so they've been a lot of fun. Those are fun reads. So that one also is one. It's a newer release. It's not the latest one. I think there's one more in the series, but I haven't read it yet and I really want to. One other one that I want to read, but I don't think it fits any of the prompts. You can tell me if it fits for prompt, if you think so. But I've had this one from the library for like a month or two, and they haven't said anything to me about returning it yet. Usually I get like emails. You can have it checked out like 3 times in a row, each of those times like 3 weeks, if nobody else wants it. And they usually send you emails. I haven't gotten any emails, so I don't know if I can have this book indefinitely or what. It feels like I've had it for 2 or 3 months, but I don't know. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I want to. And that is The Seaside Homecoming by Julie Klassen. I don't think the cover really fits any other prompts except for maybe blue tones. Doesn't look very fallish. Looks more like spring, early spring here. I don't really think it has bold type. There's nothing like academia about it. Nothing illustrated. Doesn't look particularly moody and dark. Doesn't look super happy either. Forest or nature or beautiful cover. It could go for either of those prompts. There we go. So that one is definitely a possible mood read. And speaking of library books, I do have some other books that I have checked out of the library that I might get to before I have to return them. So they're also going on my pile of possibilities for mood reading in September, and I'll just show them to you real quick. The first one is Murder in Highbury by Vanessa Kelly, and that is a cozy murder mystery set in Highbury, obviously. Emma, based on the characters from Emma by Jane Austen, of course. And this is a series, actually. It's the first in a series. I don't know if any other books in the series are out, so this could actually go with that one. And it could do the cozy vibes because it's a cozy mystery, cozy murder mystery. I don't know what else it could go with. Maybe the bold type. It's the boldest type of the ones that I have. This other one, a fun read, A Lady's Guide to Scandal. Now, it looks like she is an artist, so that could go with Framed, loosely. And this is just a Regency rom-com. I read one other book by this author and liked it, so I saw this at the library and picked it up. And then Miss Austen by Jill Hornby, because I kind of want to watch the new series, the new BBC series based on this book, but I want to read the book first. I haven't had good luck with Jill Hornsby, so I may end up DNFing it and then just watching the series without reading the book fully, but I also kind of want to give the book a try. So that is my pile of possibilities and my TBR. Let's circle back to the Reading the Classics Challenge and talk a little bit more about Shakespeare and the comedies by Shakespeare and my challenge for this month. So the prompt is to read a comedy by Shakespeare, and the scavenger hunt is to find these three things: a love story, a mistaken identity, and a song. And all three of these things feature prominently in many Shakespeare comedies. So it should be pretty easy to find. I purposely had chosen them to make this month like one of the easier ones to do. Now, I don't know for sure that all of those elements are in As You Like It, which is what I will probably end up reading, but it's likely at least one of them is for sure. So I have a list of Shakespeare's comedies. Now, different people delineate his plays differently. So this was kind of a conglomeration of a couple of different lists, and I basically put every one that could fit on here. So let me just read through the list of his plays that are considered by at least someone to be comedies. All's Well That Ends Well, The Comedy of Errors, As You Like It, Cymbeline, Love's Labour's Lost, Measure for Measure, The Merry Wives of Windsor, The Merchant of Venice, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Twelfth Night, Two Gentlemen of Verona, Much Ado About Nothing, Taming of the Shrew, and A Winter's Tale, which I don't think is very funny, but I think it does have some funny parts, and comedy isn't always necessarily funny, but anyways, like a comedic play per se. The different people define it differently, so anyway, I'm no expert. I just, do what they say. So first of all, as I'm reading this list, I realized that apparently As You Like It is one that I have read, but I don't remember anything about it. So if that is the one that's chosen, I'm good with rereading it. But I may also pick another one, probably Measure for Measure or The Merchant of Venice, because those will have discussions, videos. So I might go with one other of those as well. And the Shakespeare plays don't take a really long time to read. So, but of the ones I have read, so besides As You Like It, I read Cymbeline. I read that last year. I read A Midsummer Night's Dream. I read Twelfth Night, Much Ado About Nothing, Taming of the Shrew, and Winter's Tale. And of those, I would definitely say that Much Ado About Nothing 100% is my favorite. The good thing about that one is it has a fantastic adaptation that goes with it, that was directed by and produced, I think, by Kenneth Branagh, and also has Emma Thompson in it. And I loved that movie as a teenager, watched it many times, and it really made me love the play as well. I've read the play more than once and have enjoyed it every time. The dialogue between Beatrice and Benedict it's top notch. I love it. So Much Ado About Nothing is definitely a #1 recommendation if you're hesitant about Shakespeare, or if you are, you've read Shakespeare, but you don't love it. I would recommend watching the movie and reading the book. It doesn't really matter in which order you do that, but maybe read the book first and then watch the movie. But I watched the movie first before I read the play, and I mean, there are some differences. You may end up liking the movie better, but you may end up liking the book better too when you get to read the dialogue. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But there is a really great movie that goes with it, so definitely 100% recommend. After that, Taming of the Shrew would probably be the next one because it's really funny. Now, it's been a long time since I've read it, but I also have seen the ballet of it, which is really funny as well. Some people don't like that one because the way the relationship is portrayed, and it can come across as abusive. But I think you just have to look at it in the context of history and the time, and also not take it too seriously because it's supposed to be funny. And then A Midsummer Night's Dream is definitely up there as an undisputed top tier play of Shakespeare. And there are a lot of productions available and variations of it. Mendelssohn wrote some really lovely music, incidental music to go with that play. That's really beautiful. We get our wedding march from that. That comes from A Midsummer Night's Dream. And yeah, those would be my top recommendations. If you are new to Shakespeare or you just want some direction to choose one of the ones I read, I would definitely recommend them. Cymbeline was fine, but it didn't stand out for me as a top favorite. Twelfth Night I did enjoy as well. And that is another good one. And it has some really funny moments in it. It's maybe not quite up there with some of the others, like Much Ado, but it still was pretty good for me. It sticks out a little bit to me above the rest. And Winter's Tale was interesting. Not my favorite by Shakespeare, but it was interesting and it has quite a twist at the end that makes you like scratch your head and be like, what? What just happened here? How did that happen? Okay, cool. All right. So that's nice. So yeah, I definitely recommend reading it for curiosity's sake, if nothing else. But it's not my favorite. It's memorable, but it's not my favorite. So that is my plan for September. And it is, I don't know. I don't think it's very ambitious because I don't have anything very long on there. And I have a lot of more like fun reads on there. Besides like Persuasion and Shakespeare, while I will enjoy them, I don't consider them as fun reads per se. Like not, the classics. So they take a little more intellectual effort to read them. So the rest is that I've got on my stack here, I think will be reads that I can read pretty quickly and easily and be very enjoyable, hopefully. So that's my reading plan for September. I'm looking forward to it. School is going to be starting, so it is good that I have some lighter things on my list and on my plate to read and not to try to do all of the things, even though all the things are happening in the booktube world in September. I think it's manageable. It actually ends up being a manageable list. So I'm curious, please let me know in the comments below which of these events you are participating in, which ones you are looking forward to the most, and what some of your books are that you have picked. Have you read any of these ones that I'm reading? Do you have any thoughts, recommendations? Let me know. I want to know all the things in the comments. I look forward to chatting with you there, and I will see you next time. Bye.